The TJ Watt thing, I'd love to ask you and get your perspective, Charlie. Is it becoming like, to be so honest with you, as a fan, I'm like, I don't think this was going to blow up into anything. I didn't think the contract situation was going to become a story. Do you think he finishes his career as a Steeler?
That's tough to say because I don't know how long he wants to play, right? Typically, you sign a 4-year deal and then let's see what happens later on in his career. He needs to get closer to that Super Bowl, if not winning that Super Bowl, for him to be convinced that he wants to stay here. He wants to be a one-helmet guy. Cam Hayward showed him how that works, but ultimately the goal in Pittsburgh is not to win division titles, it's to win a Super Bowl. So he's going to pay attention to how the roster is made up. The last time he went through a contract dispute, he went all the way down to the start of the regular season. So that's not going to change now. As he's looking at all the things that has happened throughout this offseason, it's like, okay, people say, hey, you should take a hometown discount to build the roster around you. Well, that's great until they bring a DK Metcalf in that hasn't played it down in this league, but yet they gave him a huge contract. And then you turn around and see what your peers are doing. In that Myles Garrett situation, he was like, I want to get out of Cleveland until they showed him the money. So these are things that are going to happen behind the scenes that ultimately TJ is seeking. Is he a Hall of Famer? Absolutely he is. It's just a matter of what does it look like, because the only thing missing on his resume right now is a Super Bowl title, and this guy is hungry for it, and he's doing everything he can to will this team to that Super Bowl championship.
I really thought you were going to, Charlie, I really thought it was your obligation as a Steeler great to say he's not going anywhere. But now it sort of he could really go somewhere else.
What's the business of football? I mean, when you look back and I look at it and that you say, no matter how great you are, there's a strong chance the team that you start with, you're not going to finish with, right? Look how great Peyton Manning was. Hey, the Indianapolis Colts released him. He finished his career in Denver. Look at the great Tom Brady. Okay, they released him. He finished in Tampa Bay. Drew Brees, great of a passer he was. People forgot he started with the Chargers. They gave up on him, and that's how he ended up with the Saints. So all I say is the business, projects kind of where you go as it relates to what you're looking for. Circumstances obviously plays a factor, but it's just the fact of at some point in your career as an NFL player, you have to be prepared to move on at some particular point. I'm not saying that it's happening right now for TJ. All I'm saying is the longer you get into your career, when things are missing off your resume, you start to pay attention to everything around you.
The Myles Garrett example is a good one for Steelers fans to hold on to if you want him to stay, of course, there. And he ended up staying. But, I mean, that only puts more pressure, I imagine, on Aaron, on the get Aaron in here. I want to be here with an established quarterback, or is Kirk Cousins going to be enough for TJ to want to stay? It's an interesting situation. He's going to want to go somewhere, it sounds like, with an established quarterback. Some of the rumors about him, about TJ, would be Packers, which JJ was rumored to go to at the end of his career. Obviously, Wisconsin boys. Thoughts on that? Or and the Bills are another name floating around. What would be a good destination for TJ aside from the Steelers side of it?
Well, I think he has to now, if you're thinking that direction, then that means it's going to be harder for you to move if you sign an extension. If you take it to unrestricted, which he only has a year left on his deal, then that changes the whole conversation as it relates to what that looks like. And then we'll be back on this show talking about, hey, when is TJ going to sign a deal? Are they going to franchise him, or is he going to move on in free agency? There's a lot of different things that can play itself out. And just like you mentioned, his brother JJ, people forget that he finished with the Cardinals. But because you remember how great he was with the Texans. So when you had that experience to lean on, what processes, what were you thinking about when you decided to move on to the next organization? Those are kind of conversations that players are going to have. And he has somebody on the inside to be able to lean on that to say, okay, take me through that. I don't want to go anywhere. But if I do, what does that process look like?
And I'll say a team with, I don't know, a young quarterback on a rookie deal that has plenty of cap space for somebody who wants a big deal, like the Commanders, are also interesting as a team, a destination potentially for TJ.
When you have a young quarterback like that, you have free agents that say, we believe in that guy. And that's where you start to get veterans willing to take a little less to go make the team great, to go out there and hopefully accomplish that championship.
That's true. And you're sitting there and it's a very interesting case of, Aaron Rodgers with the Steelers in that division, or do I want to go down with the Commanders in that division? Tough slides either